Alrighty, it is almost 7:30 in the morning, and I've been drinking for about 13 hours now. So I guess this is another drunk edition of How to Do Shit in Vegas. Now, somebody asked about track motion. Well, track motion ain't complicated. What we got over here is just a blank, boring screen. We'll go ahead and just drop something on there. There you go. Rarity eating herself, I guess. Make this about a minute long for no reason. You know what? Fuck it. We'll go with 30 seconds. I'm okay with 30 seconds. Now, before we get to track motion, first thing you need to know is that it works exactly like event pan crop as far as the effects you can do. Oh, look at that. It's Rarity, and this is the frame. These are keyframes down here. Notice we're not messing with masking. You guys already saw that. Oh, Rarity there. She's cute, eating marshmallows, whatever. But we can take this frame. You notice mouse goes from your typical I can stretch, twist, fuck around with this, to spin it. Whatever. Now what I didn't notice is Vegas is currently lacking, preview window. There you go. Rarity's upside down. I'm using really low quality up here. Just draft half for no particular reason. Too lazy to change it. But we can spin Rarity, do things to her. It doesn't matter. This is how you reorient pictures. And look at that. Right click, restore, it's all fixed. You're lazy? Flip horizontal. Flip vertical. And technically it's doing both right now. This is kind of the dumb stuff you can do. Anyway, we're going to put her back to normal. So we've got Rarity. And maybe we just want to look at her eye. So we're going to go ahead and just scroll in. Look at that. It's her eye. There you go. Rarity's eye. It's fascinating. That's pretty much how you go ahead and make a lot of the clips that have been overused look original. It's by panning in. And this will come into play with track motion as well, especially this part. Position. This keyframe right here, the start of the clip. This is what it'll look like. Let's just go ahead and say 5 seconds in, or around there, whatever the fuck this ends up being. See, right here, they're the same. But no. Right here, I want to be looking at that bag of marshmallows. Nothing but marshmallow. Make it creepy. So, right here, it's out. Right here, it's in. And if we were to go frame by frame through this, you would see that this shrinks. Isn't that neat? Such a nice effect. So we're going to grab, about 5 seconds of this. Oh, by the way, this is a handy little tip. Right-click, switches. Disable resample. This doesn't need to be resampled. Save Vegas some time. Shift-B is what I just pressed there. That went ahead and loaded this selection into RAM, so it previews smoothly. Look at that. Zooming in on Rarity's little bag of marshmallows over the span of 5 seconds. And looping. That's what you can do with pan crop. Maybe we can make this not look like ass. Oh, look, it smooths out nicely. Oh, we're zooming in on that bag of marshmallows. Those are very nice, Rarity. Thanks for sharing. So, that would be keyframes and event pan crop. It's how you adjust images. And of course, you can go ahead and we're just going to get rid of this keyframe. Fuck this thing. It's not doing us any good. You could just initially say, I want the entire picture to be her face. Okay, we've resized it and made it her face. And now, throughout the entire course of this, that's what we focus on. Her face. Well, that'll come in handy in a moment here. Now, I'm going to insert a video track. I'm assuming most of you understand how stacking works. Top track overlays bottom track. Whatever's on the top track is what you see. So if I were to drop, the classic green screen right here, and then say, what does this look like? Well, it's going to look like a fucking green screen because this supersedes this. Science. Switch it around. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Fuck that. So, you probably understand that now. However, what we're going to do now is show you track motion. We're going to go back to a little video I did once upon a time. I think it was called She's a Whore. Well, she's a horse, but whatever. The song She's a Whore involves my favorite little thing, the Subway sandwich. Oh yes, all over your face, Rarity. all over it. We're just going to make this the same length. This is just going to be a 30-second clip because we don't care. Actually, I don't even know if it's worth 30 seconds. First thing we're going to do is make this smaller. Now I know instinct says to make it smaller, you bring the box in. No, no, no. That gives you a detailed look of cheese and meat. Now you make it bigger. The bigger the frame, the smaller the sub. You see how that works? Ooh, this is kind of fun. It's science. And we could even go ahead and adjust the frame a little bit, but you notice this isn't very efficient as far as trying to make it look like Rarity's eating it. Screw that. We're going to restore this and get it to a size we want. Sure. Why not? Yes, it looks pixelated, but that's because I've got the preview on draft. The reason you do that is because otherwise sometimes things are a little flaky in playback. Yeah, okay, I am drunk. Playback. So, now we've got this sub sitting there doing nothing interesting. Over here, this happy little button, track motion. You're going to learn to love this shit. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can make an image appear out of nowhere, wherever you want. You can do the 2D glow and shadow, which is what originally prompted this. Somebody didn't know how to use them. So we'll just go ahead and do the 2D shadow to start with. Oh, you see the difference there? Suddenly, shadow behind it. The sub now sticks out and no longer looks like it's a flat image. It's science. You can mess with the color, which I usually do. You can mess with the blur on it, make it blurrier, or, go down to the point where it is a solid shape. That's not quite as interesting. And over here is just like event pan crop, sort of, except now you've got two boxes at the moment. This one happens to be the shadow. We can move it around. You can make the shadow chase it. You can use keyframes down here to position the I can't talk. Position the shadow so that it chases after it or runs away from it or does whatever. Anyway, we're just going to put it back to normal and get rid of that because we don't care about it. So now you know where that is. Not difficult. Back to position. Look, just like the other nonsense on event pan crop, except now it's very, very easy to move it. You can still rotate it. Sometimes that comes in handy. In fact, it's going to come in handy in a minute here. We got poor Rarity sitting there. We should do something with this. We'll just restore box. Let's take our little sub here and just get it off the screen. Okay, so it's starting off. It's right there. That is the position of the sub right at 0. We're going to go into, well, I'm going to mouse wheel in and zoom in because I want to see better options. 5 seconds. Why not? I'm going to ignore that keyframe for a moment because I want Rarity here to be back to normal. I just want to throw this at her, because why not? Seems to be my thing, what I'm known for. Throwing subs at random fucking ponies, usually Rarity. Now, you notice right here, we got this extra little track here. That's because we added a track motion keyframe. You can either click right here to expand track keyframes, and now you can add track frames or keyframes real easy. In this case, we're not going to bother with those. You can also drag them around and say, oh, I'd like it to be over here, here, whatever. I think we wanted it at about 5 seconds, which is good enough. Another way to open that, just double click on the track. Meh. So, you can double click on that keyframe or even double click anywhere on here to place a new one. So, our starting keyframe, this thing is off the screen. Our ending keyframe, well, I don't know. We're not going to end it there, but at 5 seconds, I want this thing to hit her right in the goddamn eye. So we're going to put it right there. In fact, we're even going to turn this thing a little bit so it torpedoes right at her fucking eye. Because that's how Rarity likes it, in the eye. Isn't that just neat? Okay, so once it hits, now what do we want to do with it? Well, let's say that over the span of a second, second and a half, right about here. What the hell? At this point, I would like this to have spun and rebounded off the screen. So now it's up there. All right, there you go. I just changed the rotation, shoved it off the screen. So at this point, it's off the screen. At this point, it's in her eye. At this point, it has left the screen. What could that possibly look like? Well, we're going to go ahead and just grab this part here. We're going to remember that I haven't taken off the resample, just to make this quicker. Save it, because sometimes Vegas crashes. Okay, Vegas crashes a lot. Tutorial 2. Yes, I'd like to overwrite that piece of shit I did earlier. Press play to do some more. Oh, it comes in really slow. I don't know if I like that. And it just rebounds off kind of slow. Well, that is bullshit. We're going to go ahead and shorten this entire experience up. 2 seconds on, right around 3 seconds off. So it should rebound off faster than it went in. I'm going to grab this, and we're going to play it. That's still pretty slow, but you see what's going on here? Sub flies in, rarity in the face, flies off, but that rotation's not right. You saw me spin it. I spun it around a lot, but Vegas decides it's going to go ahead and take the shortest route. Well, there's ways around that. I'm sure you can figure them out. Or I could show you, I guess. I don't know why. Best way, though, is we're just going to restore this. So right here, it's there. Get rid of this keyframe, because I want to put 2 seconds at 3 seconds. I want it to be that rotation, except let's go ahead and just... which way should we spin this? See, it's hitting her like that. I'm going to say it spins like that. We're just going to stuff it off the screen somewhere. I don't know if that'll look decent or not. I don't really care. We are, however, going to play, and sub connects and rebounds. See, that's real slow. If you want it to speed up, well, that's when you take this and say, this is going to go fast as fuck. Right about there. Play that. Chaboing. See, that's a little better. Rarity, on the other hand, is not impressed. Look at her, just ignoring this sub, the delicious sub. I think that was everything I wanted to show you, and mostly I don't give a fuck about any of it. This is stuff that's helpful, but honestly, what you need to learn is how to use keyframes, which I still haven't really explained, although if you paid attention here, pretended this was a, something you learned, I guess you will probably figure out keyframes. They're just markers saying, at this point this happens, at this point this happens. And guess what? In between 2 keyframes, and I just actually pointed at my fucking screen like you could actually see my hand. Must be kind of shit-faced, so we'll use the mouse instead. I hear the mouse helps. At keyframe 1, it's there. Keyframe 2, oh, look, I want it to be at that point. Vegas is smart. It transitions between them. See how that works? That's just amazing. There you go. You now have yourself a quick, this is track motion, this is event pan crop, and someday I might even show you how to use this funny little button, although it's better off that you don't know, because that's how you end up with a just an eye rape video. Look at all these pretty filters you can put on here. You just don't use this shit for the most part unless you actually have something interesting to do with it. For an example of why you don't, check the description. I will link the intensive gassed pony unit reversed, in which I loaded the shit out of it with filters, reversed the entire video, and rendered it out. That's why you don't abuse filters. They look like ass. So, I think that concludes this. I don't know how long I've been talking. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not even going to edit this. I am simply going to upload the unrendered AVI and hope it turned out okay. Thank you for watching, or thank you for not. Have yourself a lovely, lovely, lovely day. It's Saturday. It's 7:40 in the morning. I'm drunk. Good times.